Figure it out. Figure it out. You need to figure it out.
Figure it out, man.
Figure it out.
Figure it out.
Figure it out. All right? Figure it out. Just figure it out.
The love of God, figure it out.
And welcome to the FIO podcast. I am your host, Mason Kleist. And if you haven't figured it out by now, you need to figure it out. I'm here with the legendary, the former lax bro, current studying bro, George Shinara. How we doing, George?
I'm great, man. Thanks for having me on.
Dude, yeah, it's been a long time coming. I think it's going to be everybody in my fantasy league. It's going to get on here. I've had pretty much half the league on here already.
Even Kilgore, you're going to bring him on?
I don't know. I don't think Kilgore's going to have anything interesting to say. Kilgore, Guerin, and I'll have Dex on eventually. I'm sure that'll be a nice podcast. He'll just want to talk about the Cowboys or something. I'm not sure. But how we doing, man? We haven't caught up in a while. I know since I graduated, at least. How's Williamsburg doing?
It's going, man. It's just trying to finish up these classes and get ready to move on to graduate school and start applying to med school in the summer. So we're just grinding and preparing for the future, my man.
Dr. Shinara coming soon, yeah?
Give me 12 years and then you can call me doctor.
Dude, that's crazy. I can't believe that. But is it cold right now in Williamsburg? What's the temperature like?
It's getting there. It's kind of rainy and drizzling right now, so it's a little cold, but it's not too bad right now.
Yeah, this time of year is what depressed me the most living there, because it would the leaves would fall off the trees, so the trees would be bare. And it would be cloudy and rainy and cold for like months on end, and you're in such a beautiful area when there's leaves on the trees and it's nice weather, but then it just depresses you when you have to look out in the distance and see just bare trees and shivering your ass off. I can't do that.
You are not wrong. Happy belated birthday, by the way.
Thank you. Yeah, for everybody that wanted to know.
42 now?
I am 25 years young. Thank you very much.
Okay.
I can now rent a car, so that's pretty cool. I guess I'll have to go do that one of these days. Just rent like a Rolls Royce just for the hell of it, just because I can.
Okay.
But yeah, pretty boring birthday. I had to work on it. But like, what's cool about the city of El Paso is they recognize your birthday as a holiday. So,
wow.
Yeah, so you could take, and like how holidays work here is you can use it, you could save it and use it for another day. And so I saved it, and I'm using it for this Sunday, the 10th. So, and then my days off are Monday and Tuesday. So I'm going to have a 3-day weekend, and Sunday is a pretty loaded football schedule, ending with the Vikings playing on Sunday night. So that'll be nice. I'll be shit-faced by then, day drinking by myself. It's
going to be awesome.
It'll be a good
Pretty
day.
jealous of you.
What's that?
Pretty jealous.
Yeah, I know. So what's your class schedule looking like?
It's not too bad right now. I just got biodiversity with Dr. Ash.
Ooh, love her.
Love her. Hate the class. I'm in anatomy with comparative anatomy with Coos.
Nice.
Senior Sim with Dr. Mrs. Yetter. Oh my god, it's fucking horrible.
You shouldn't have done that, dude. You should have done it with Ash.
I tried to, man. But
did you try and get in?
No, it was only her and her husband for senior sim this semester.
Oh, that's right. It goes off by semester. Is she making you do plants?
It's like plant-pollinator relationships. So
okay, that's not too bad.
I hate it, dude.
I mean, I wouldn't say I'm an expert on it, but I took like 3 classes where that was at least a topic. So I know my fair share about plant-pollinator relationships.
That class is kicking my ass right now.
The thing I liked about Dr. Ash doing it was she was super, like, lenient. Like, she'd be on your ass, but she'd be also lenient, like, understanding. Like, if you had, like, a game or something like that, she'd be like, all right, you can just get it to me whenever.
Right.
And we had a pretty solid group in the class, too, including your boy Peyton.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
We're going to get into your boy Peyton. Me and him have been going at it on social media the last few weeks.
What's he been doing?
Just, like, he's a huge Texans fan, and I'm a huge Vikings fan. Literally zero rivalry there at all, but he likes to make it a nice rivalry for some reason. So whenever the rankings would come out, the Texans would be like 1 or 2 spots above the Vikings, and he would just immediately tag me and be like, "Go, bro, where's the Vikings?" like just trying to start shit for no reason. And then
Oh yeah, he does that.
the Texans struggled a bit. They lost to the Colts, and I didn't say a word. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna be the bigger man. I'm not gonna call him out. I'm just gonna wait till the end of the season when the Colts, win the division, because I do believe the Colts will win the division.
Okay, hot take.
That is a hot take.
We'll
Extremely
get to
hot
that
take.
later.
We will. You'll hear my reasoning behind it. But
it was pretty nice though when I was in Dallas and the Eagles got pounced.
yeah, well, how was that? Like the way I see it, I mean, I've only been to one Vikings game and we won. So I've been to 3 and we won all 3, but I haven't been to a loss. And I hate watching them lose on the TV. It ruins my whole day. So I mean, you seem to take it like a champ. Like, you posted a picture on Instagram and everything. How was that?
I've seen the Eagles multiple times. I've seen them a bunch. Philly being my second home, so I've been there a lot. It's just part of it. All the fans are just like me. We all just start hammering and cussing, like, fire everyone. We hate Nelson Aguilar. We blame him for everything.
You should hate every receiver on your team except for Zach Ertz. Even though even he's dropped passes, though.
We will get to them. I have some things to say about this organization.
I can't wait. I cannot wait.
But, they act just like me, so it's a little bit more comforting than anything, but we're all just pissed off. So, and you know how passionate we are.
I mean, yeah, you guys threw fucking batteries at Santa and snowballs at Santa, and you throw fucking full beer cans at Minnesota Vikings fans for no reason.
And you got 9-year-old kids flipping off Eli Manning.
Yeah, it's just a shit show there in Philly with the fans.
It's a different world.
They're passionate. I will say they're loyal, but they're just scum of the earth, and I can't get over them. And I feel.
All right, guys.
I'm just saying. You've agreed with me. There's some. You're the exception. You're a good Eagles fan, but there are some terrible dudes out there. When they're doing stuff like, if you throw snowballs at Santa, you got to have something wrong with you. Come on, man, it's Santa. And flipping off people when you're 9 years old. I don't know. They're just a different breed. But it blew my mind when Colin Cowherd before the season made a list of his top 10 or top 15 franchises or fan loyalty, and the Eagles weren't even in his top 10.
That was unbelievable.
Which is crazy. And DeFranco, was on a couple weeks ago. He was pretty heated about that when the Browns weren't on there either. He wanted to make a statement.
You can't ask DeFranco about Cowherd because you know how he is. He hates Cowherd. He thinks Cowherd is against the city of Cleveland, against Baker. I mean,
that's been the greatest rivalry in sports this year, though. Cowherd versus Baker and the Browns, and just the city of Cleveland in general. Because he's low key out to get him, but he's not, because he'll defend him here and there too, just to mix it up. But when the Browns lose, everyone's just like, what's Cowherd got to say?
But he knows the Browns are just a shit show.
Yeah.
But he just calls them out on that.
Yeah, and it's funny because he'll roast the Browns and everything, and then he'll be like, I still think Baker's a good quarterback and all this stuff. It's just to piss him off. Like, he deep down he thinks he's trash and doesn't think he deserves to be in the league, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll get into the Browns a little bit later. But overall, man, you're doing good. I'm happy to hear that you're doing good, and you're going to graduate soon. Get the hell out of Williamsburg as far as you can, because it sucks. I was talking to some friends the other day. They were all saying, "Oh, I miss college. I miss college." I'm like, "Yeah, I miss my friends. I don't miss college," which sucks because a lot of people do miss their college experience and stuff like that. And I'm not saying mine was terrible, but when you go to school in Williamsburg, it's kind of hard to have it as great as you want it to be.
Yeah.
And you see eye to eye with me on that subject, and I've talked to guests that I've had on here in the past where it's like we went to school, we had kind of the best of both worlds. We were college athletes, and we partied a little bit at the school, but not enough to really get in trouble. But we went to bigger universities where our friends were and got to experience that as well. The fraternity scene. So it's like people love Cumberlands and love that culture when they don't know what else is out there. If they just know that, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean, man. You're speaking all facts right now.
I know, it just blows my mind because people will be like, "Oh, I love
And
this
that's why some of
place.
these people won't ever leave because they just love it so much. They don't want to experience anything else.
At Dexter Wilson never wants to leave, which blows my mind. He's gone to plenty of big school parties and stuff like that, so he knows.
He lives 10 minutes from TCU.
Yeah, exactly. And
I'm like, come on, Dex.
yeah, and everyone else that comes back to be a GA and stuff, I don't. They could pay me $1 million. Like, I don't think I'd do it. I just couldn't do it. But how's the lacrosse team looking this year? Do you know? Are you keeping up with them?
I've been keeping up with them a little bit because Jake Mitchell and Cody are coaches now.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So yeah,
Coach
they're doing
Jake.
that. I heard they're doing all right. They returned a bunch of guys. They lost a bunch of. They lost me, Nick, Brian, Walker, Jake.
Yeah, a lot of seniors.
Good amount of seniors.
Henry,
yeah.
a lot of
Cody.
seniors.
So the biggest weakness is what Jake and I played, which was D mid.
Yeah.
That's the biggest weakness, and then what Cody was, a face-off. That's the biggest weaknesses of the team, and that's what's killing them right now. So they got to figure out what to do in those positions. But other than that, they should be all right.
Yeah, they just got to figure it out,
That's right.
So when you went to Dallas for the game, you stayed with Henry?
I did.
Yeah, Henry randomly hit me up like right when I got to Tyler, Texas, and when I lived in East Texas, which was about an hour south of Dallas, and he would he DM'd me or something. He goes, "Hey, bro, you're in Texas?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm like an hour from Dallas." He goes, "Dude, I'm in Dallas. We got to link up," and that never happened.
Yeah. When Ben's picked us up from the stadium, he said the same thing. So we'll see if that ever happens.
Yeah, I was supposed to go to a Rangers game with Ben's, but then he ended up getting picked up by a pro team in May, like the last part of May. And yeah, I ended up just going with one of my coworkers that knew nothing about baseball, so it wasn't as fun. But the Twins came up with the dub. Doesn't matter though because we choked in the playoffs.
Must be nice.
Let's talk about baseball for a hot second right now.
Hot second.
Just real quick, because I'm not trying to talk about baseball. Bryce Harper leaves the Nationals, comes to your Phillies, and then the Nationals win the World Series. How do you think Bryce Harper feels right now? Do you really think he doesn't care or he's happy for them? He's got to be salty.
I think, it's probably a little bit of both. He's happy that they won. He's happy for his former teammates and stuff. But, he's kind of sad on these. He had an opportunity to play for a World Series. But, I think what we have now going forward, I think for him and his family, I think he enjoys Philadelphia more than he did with the D.C. organization.
And this might be a piping hot take, but I would take a 21-year-old Juan Soto over Bryce Harper's hair and drama any day of the week. Any day.
Might be a hot take, but a lot of people have been talking about Bryce Harper, but I'm a huge Bryce Harper fan. So,
I mean, he can hit the ball 900 feet, but can he do anything else?
I'm thinking about my Phillies.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they'll be good in the future. He's got to be with the team. They got to build around him a little bit. He'll be there for a while. But fuck baseball. We're not talking about that anymore.
No, we are not.
Let me tell you. I want to tell because I'm talking to you, but I'm also talking to everybody else that's going to listen to this damn podcast. Let me tell you guys something that happened to me this week on my birthday week of all weeks. So I don't have a laundry I don't have a washer dryer in my unit. So there's like a laundromat in my apartment complex. You know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
And so I went there and I dried some of my clothes, washed them first, dried them. And then I come back from work to get them out of the dryer and I noticed that they're not there. And so at first I thought someone stole them. But then I look at the machine itself and there's burn marks on the inside. So I'm like, shit, my clothes burned. But where are they? And so I had to call poor Jesus, the maintenance guy, and he came by and told me, yeah, they all burned to ash. And I said, and there was one sock left in the dryer. I said, then how did this sock survive? And he showed me, he's like, actually, they're not ash, they're fine, they're just burnt. And we threw them out. And I was like, why would you throw away my clothes, Jesus? And he's like, the manager told me to do that. So I had a dumpster dive for my clothes. About 80% of them were okay. The rest of them were torched, like literally burnt to a crisp. But I'm not mad the dryer malfunction. Shit happens. I understand that. But that for management to throw out my clothes without leaving a note, without sending an email, with like common human courtesy, put them in a damn trash bag and leave them in your something, you know, like a garage or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that just ruined. And I had to make a claim today. And I was just like, give me $300 and we'll call it even. Like,
yeah, that would make me very, very mad because I'm very particular about my clothes.
Yeah, and thank God I didn't go out that week, like, at all, because I didn't have any of my nicer clothes in there. I had work shirts that had my name on it, so they can't say they didn't know who it was. And, like, workout shirts usually, but, like, nicer gym shorts. I was pissed. And the management, I talked to her the other day, and she's a bitch, by the way. She's such a bitch. I'm sorry, like... She is. If you're listening to this in El Paso, do not live at Raintree Village Apartments. They suck. Management sucks. And this ties into sports because it doesn't matter how good the amenities are for an apartment complex. You can have a pool, hot tub, basketball court, you know, dog park, all that good shit. But it doesn't matter if management sucks. Same thing in sports. The players can be great, but if the management sucks, the team isn't good. That's clear. That's just plain as day how it is. And when I went to the front office to talk to her, she said, we are fully in our rights to throw out those clothes because you weren't there to claim them. And I was like, I was at work. What do you want? You gave me, 8 hours to claim them? Just blows my mind. So Marissa at Raintree Village Apartments, figure it the fuck out. You are my FIO person of the week, of the month, possibly of the year for that shit. So there was my rant. I needed to get that off my chest.
Yep. It was good to get that off your chest. I understand.
I know. It feels like a good load. And now I can finally crack open this beer, get going. This nice Tecate. Great Mexican beer. I drink it every time, every podcast, and it's great. You got to give it a try. It's delicious.
I will.
All right, let's get into some fucking sports. This is how I transition every time. Let's just get right into it. Biggest headline I've seen this week, Antonio Brown, rumor going to the Eagles, your team. He has a meeting with the NFL next week, and he is quote-unquote determined to play. Do the Eagles sign him with Deshaun Jackson going down with the season-ending injury for his core?
Well, let's do a little talking about Antonio Brown.
Antonio Clown.
Antonio, he is definitely a clown.
God damn.
He's probably, in my opinion, the biggest diva/distraction in the history of the NFL.
Yeah, bigger than T.O., bigger than Ocho Cinco.
Bigger than Dion.
Yep, 100%.
It doesn't matter, in my opinion, it doesn't matter how talented, how gifted you are. If you cause that much disruption in an organization, then I don't think it would be worth it. But, now, I'm saying that. But with the Eagles receiving core, when you have Nelson Aguilar that can't catch a cold, you have Alshon Jeffrey, who's the most inconsistent receiver in the NFL.
Yep.
Deshaun Jackson, who's hurt all the time, who's on IR now.
And he's old.
Very old. And we have to rely on Matt Collins. Do you even know who Matt Collins is?
No, is he a receiver?
Yeah, he stinks.
Is he a rookie?
No, he's a third-year player, but he stinks.
I always say if your best receiver is a tight end, you're doing something wrong.
Yeah, when your best two receivers are Zach Ertz and Dallas
Goedert.
And he, I would take the risk and sign Antonio Brown.
Well, Ertz has been declining, too, this year.
It's not about him declining. It's just the team.
I know, but he's definitely, especially in fantasy, he hasn't been doing as good as he was last year.
Well, yeah, it's hard to top 116 catches, the most ever by a tight end in a single season.
Oh, okay.
Pretty hard to top that, in my opinion.
Well, yeah, I think the Eagles are too well run of an organization to take a stab at him. But yeah, desperate times call for desperate measures. Like, he literally has no leverage, and I think the Eagles and other teams should know that. He has no leverage to go off of. You could actually tell him, you are playing for free, and we will give you money at the end of the season, and he might have to take it, because I don't know what the hell he does with his days. besides go on Twitter and start shit.
Yeah, I agree.
Because what was he? He was tweeting all like at the Patriots, one of the most well-run organizations in sports history, knew to get him out of there, and he just bashes them, and it just goes to show just the character of him, and it just blows my mind that someone with that much talent can just be that crazy. And
he cost himself $40 million.
Yeah, what was it? I think he signed $30 million guaranteed with the Raiders, and they cut him. It was some loophole where if he did something, they didn't have to pay him, and then he signed what is it, like a $5 or $6 million contract with the. Or no, it was $9 million. It was $9 million to the
$9 million with the Patriots.
With the Patriots, and they cut him the day before they were going to have to give him guaranteed money. He made like $900,000, I think, which is still a ridiculous amount of money, but not in any. He went from $40 million, like you said, to $900K in a year, under a year.
Under a year, man.
It just blows my mind. And my hot take, my theory behind because for the longest time, I admired Antonio Brown. I thought he had amazing work ethic. I thought he was such a great guy. I loved listening to his interviews because he, had a $1 million smile, funky hair. He was dancing all the time. He was having fun. I thought he was like one of the best receivers in the league. I mean, obviously he is. He's talented as hell. And then after that hit, Vontaze Burfict knocked his ass out cold 3 years ago. He started going psychopath. If you haven't been figuring it out, and I think it's early onset CTE, and we need to get him checked. Because think about it, he's going fucking crazy. He went from being one of the nicest guys in the league to the craziest guys in the league. He's not even in the league.
Mm-mm. It's pretty sad to see.
It is super sad. But I picked Antonio up in fantasy in one of my other leagues just in case. I picked him up and dropped him a few times. But have you looked at what I'm projected this week?
I have not.
I'm projected 158 points, George. I've never heard of that in my entire life. I've never been projected that many points.
Earlier this week in one of my other leagues, I forgot how we do the point system, but I scored like 223.
Are you using ESPN?
No. Yeah, we're on ESPN, but I don't know how the point system is.
It's probably bonuses. You probably did bonuses. Like if there was a 50-yard touchdown, he gets like 5 extra points or 10 extra points or something like that. I've played that before. I think that's trash. I think the league that I'm running right now with you guys, with you in it, I think that's the best standard PPR, no bonuses, no week 17 playoff championships. That's trash. I lost in the championship the first year of this league because of that. I was up, and then week 17 came. None of my players played. All of his players played, and I lost in the championship because of that. So, trash. So if I don't win this year, something's wrong because I put up 240 last week. I'm projected 158 this week. It's unheard of. I have a super team. So
yeah, the team is good.
Knock on fucking wood.
I was one of the better teams, and then they just fell off.
Yeah, because you traded Dalvin Cook for fucking peanuts.
No, I did not. That was a good trade.
You don't even play one of the guys you got. You got who'd you get? DeMarcus Robinson. You don't even play him.
Well, it's better than nothing.
And Chris Carson's decent, but he's not Dalvin. Jeez.
He's a top 10 running back.
Dalvin's a top 3 running back.
Yeah, so if I get a top 10 running back and Carson Wentz, who averages at least 18 points a week,
Carson
then
Wentz.
That's a win-win.
Carson Wentz is not doing good in fantasy. I dropped him in my other league. I couldn't deal with
Matt
him.
Ryan.
Matt Ryan's putting up numbers. They suck, but he's
played in 2 weeks.
Yeah, because he got hurt and he had a bye. So he was projecting 19 to 20 points every week, and you shouldn't have traded him. That's just bad trade, but it's okay. We don't have to keep talking about that. So to go back to what we were talking about, you would not be upset or surprised. Would you be surprised if Antonio gets signed to the Eagles?
I'd be surprised because Josh Gordon was available and
they didn't sign him.
They didn't sign him. I thought they were going to sign him. He ended up going to Seattle.
Well,
so I would be very, very surprised. They signed Jordan Matthews. They love him. And he is pretty mediocre, in my opinion.
All they need is for someone to catch balls, man.
Please, lead the league in drops.
Yeah, I think that someone was saying Carson Wentz would be in MVP talks if they were catching all of his balls that he's throwing.
Yes. And did you hear what Max Kellerman said?
What'd he say?
He said the reason they're not catching the balls is because Carson Wentz can't lead. I said that has nothing to do with each other.
Yeah, it's physical between mental and physical. You know what I mean?
And Carson Wentz is the captain.
Yeah.
They want to vote him captain if they. So.
Well, he's gotten knocks. He's gotten knocks on his leadership capabilities before. They said that's why Nick Foles played better, or they played better with Nick Foles than they did with Carson Wentz. So
I'm not a huge Alshon fan either. He's the one that starts all this drama.
He is super booty. He had a good game against the Vikings. He was just destroying Xavier Rhodes, and then the next week he'll have like 2 catches, 2 drops.
Yeah, the Eagles have some problems.
That dude, that viral video that went on, that dude that was saving people out of a burning building and was catching babies.
Unlike Aguilar.
And roasted Aguilar. That's just pinnacle. That's Philly fans right there. Like, there's a burning building and he's making jokes about the football team. Oh, I love it.
Yep, he cost us a game against Atlanta.
Big time. A few games. Except the Vikings game. Y'all got blown out. Sorry.
We did get blown out. Yep. That was an embarrassment.
But, yeah, we'll get more into the Eagles later.
Right.
Kareem Hunt and A.J. Green are back. They make their season debuts.
A.J. Green apparently got hurt again.
He's not playing?
Apparently. I think I got a breaking news. I could be wrong.
I thought I saw that too. I didn't see like Wojnarowski say anything or Schefter, but I saw a meme saying it was like A.J. Green's ready to play, and then it showed Ryan Finley's the quarterback, and he's like, my ankle. I can't play. I'm sorry. Yeah. Well, let's say he does.
They're the worst team in the NFL.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Let's say he does play. Who makes a bigger impact, Kareem Hunt or A.J. Green?
Well, it's going to be hard for Kareem Hunt because he's going to have to split carries with Nick Chubb. And Nick Chubb's actually having a good year.
Yeah, Nick Chubb's a low-key top 5 running back this year, in my opinion.
Yes. Yeah, and I like Nick Chubb. I think he's a good player. So I would say AJ.
Yeah,
just because they're going to feed him.
They can't get any worse, right? They can't get any worse. So AJ Green coming back will for sure make a bigger impact than Kareem Hunt. Unless Kareem Hunt has some like huge touchdown that wins them the game or something. I think they're going to try and get Kareem Hunt involved though, because they want him to get, they want him to get carries, get him comfortable in that offense, and he hasn't played a real game in who knows how long, probably a year now. It's been a while. But yeah, I think the Bengals can't get any worse. And I think Kareem Hunt is a tremendous talent, but we'll have to see his fantasy impact. And DeFranco had a hot take on here 2 weeks ago.
Oh, God knows what he said.
He had a hot take, and listen to this. He said Nick Chubb is the best pure runner in the NFL. Would you agree?
No.
Like prototypical running back is what he says. So he's not talking about the modern ones that catch the ball out of the backfield. Like he's talking pure running, open field, can run through the holes better than anybody else. And I said that's a super hot take. Like he is an extremely good running back and he can find the holes really well. But there are plenty of other running backs that do the same thing, plus they do more. So I mean, it's hard.
Very, very hot take.
It was hard for me to argue though because like Chubb is a good running back, but it's like Dalvin Cook does the same thing. He bounces off tackles, he finds the holes, and he's got better numbers to show for it. So why are you saying he's the best pure runner in the NFL?
Does Zeke not play anymore?
Yeah, Zeke's a great. He catches balls out of the backfield, but I would consider him more of a runner than a pass catcher. Like Kamara's more of a pass catcher than a runner, but Kamara can run in the open field as well. He finds the holes. He's hard to tackle, man. He's slippery when he's healthy.
What about Saquon? Saquon can go through the hole and to the outside
and hurdle you. It blows my mind. And I asked him that. I debated. I said, so would you rather have Saquon than Nick Chubb? And he said he'd rather have Saquon. So at least he was smart there.
Okay.
He was smart there, but he said he'd rather have Nick Chubb over Dalvin and Alvin Kamara. Which blows my mind because why would you want a running back that's one-dimensional when you can have a running back that can do both? So, shout out Nick DeFranco. We're roasting you on the FIA
Nicky
podcast.
D.
Sorry, Nicky D. So another headline: Trent Williams not playing because the Redskins suck. Basically, I'm just getting right to it. He said he's not injured. He's in the best shape of his life, but he's not playing for a team that has one win.
That is the worst run organization in the NFL. It's not the Browns. It's not Cincinnati.
It's the Redskins. I'd agree. They're pretty bad. They're pretty badly run.
Their owner is a jackass. He don't know what the hell he's doing. He gets too involved with football. Their president can't draft. I mean, they have a multitude of problems.
Don't they still have Alex Smith? I'm confused.
They do. He's under contract, but he can't play.
Why?
So apparently he's going to play next year.
That doesn't make any sense.
What are they going to do with Dwayne Haskins?
He tore his ACL. Like, was it a torn ACL?
He broke his leg, and then there was nerve damage. And then they said he almost died.
Oh, shit. Yeah, I wouldn't want to get him back that early,
when
too.
you have nerve damage in your leg, it can go up through your whole body.
Because I'm trying to think, if they had Alex Smith, how much better they'd be. I don't think they'd be much better. I think Alex Smith is past his prime. I think he'd be their best quarterback option, though, out of everybody.
I like Dwayne Haskins. They just have nothing.
I don't like Dwayne Haskins. He's not ready yet. They're putting him out there to fail, and it's going to ruin his career. I think Case Keenum's their best option. They should just ride him if he's healthy for the rest of the year.
I agree Haskins isn't ready, but, season's over. Why not prepare for the future?
Yeah, so keep playing him.
And if you believe Dwayne's the future, why not get him some reps and some opportunity to get better?
You can give him some reps, but don't get the man killed out there. Trent Williams isn't playing to protect him. He'd be running for his life. He'd lose confidence. He'd have bad tape, and he could potentially get hurt. So I think he's played enough. So let somebody else go in there.
I will say, though, the Redskins do have some talent on their defense. I will say that. They got some good players.
I mean, they got talent in general. Jamison Crowder is decent. He's not if he's your number one wide receiver, that's pretty bad. But they got AP, Darius Geis is coming back. Chris Thompson.
McLaurin's pretty good.
Yeah, like they got the players. Didn't they have Vernon Davis? Didn't he get hurt?
He's a dinosaur, but they still have him.
He's a dinosaur. Yeah, that week 1 he had that 59-yard touchdown run. He hurdled 2 people. Came out of nowhere.
It was against the Eagles.
Was it? Oh yeah, it was. I thought they were going to win that game, and that's when I thought the Redskins were going to be good this year.
I was pissed. It was 17-0. I was cussing up a storm. That was unbelievable.
So who do you hate the most in your division?
Dallas. I hate Dallas more than I hate the Giants.
Is that mutual, you think, between the Redskins, Giants, and Eagles fans? They all hate Dallas the most?
Yeah.
Just because they're America's team?
No, because they're a bunch of cocky bastards that haven't won shit since '96.
Oh, shit.
They only say, you've won the Eagles have only won 1 Super Bowl. I'm like, okay. But we won in 2017. Y'all haven't won jack shit since '96.
Yeah, what do they have, 3 playoff wins in 20-something years?
That's what I'm saying. And I'm thinking, please, I am begging you, pay Dak Prescott $40 million. Please do that.
Jerry Jones is the smartest owner in football. He knows when to pay and when not to pay. So he's going to wait. He's licking his chops right now because he's like, oh, Dak isn't playing that good. I don't have to pay him. He's going to wait until the Bears game. And when the Bears sack him a billion times and he can't score, and then they'll be like, hey, let's talk trade talks. Or not trade. Let's talk contract. Let's see how much you're worth. So
see, I don't mind Dak. I don't like him at all. I don't think he's terrible. I think he is pretty okay.
He's extremely average.
Quarterback. Pretty Kirk Cousins-esque quarterback.
All right. I'd take Kirky over Dak right now. There's the threshold. The way I like to see it, and I can't take credit for this. I don't know who came up with it. I forget who. It's the Matt Ryan question. So the way you want to was it Cowherd? I love Cowherd. So is he better than Matt Ryan? If he's better than Matt Ryan, you pay him. He's worth the money. If he's not better than Matt Ryan, you don't pay him. So is Dak Prescott better than Matt Ryan? Let's not think about right now because he's hurt, struggling a bit. Overall, is Dak Prescott better than Matt Ryan? I would say no. I'd say they're about the same.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think Matt Ryan is a little bit. He's he's probably in that 13, 14 range of quarterbacks.
Yeah, like fringe top 15 quarterback.
Right. So I think Dak is around there. I think Dak's probably 15. Him and Kirk are probably like 15, 16. So
Yeah,
it
I mean,
depends on what you want your team to be.
Kirk,
If
the
you're
month of
gonna change
October, was in MVP talks, but I quickly shut that down because of the competition we were playing. So because I saw it on NFL Network, they posted a picture. They said, "Who's your MVP?" And fucking Kirk Cousins is sitting there in the top left corner. I said, "Why the fuck is he in here?
Yeah, that's unbelievable.
Get him out." Dak was in there too. Get him out of there. Like, keep it. My top 3 MVP candidates right now, and I might be getting ahead of schedule, but I'm going to say it now because I've been saying it for the last 3 weeks. Russell Wilson, in no order, Russell Wilson, Christian McCaffrey, and Dalvin Cook. Those are my 3 MVP. Patrick Mahomes, if he would stay healthy, I'd say him. We'll see how he does towards the end of this run. If he goes on a tear, then obviously he'll get back in it. Fringe, you could say Lamar Jackson. Very fringe.
Very, very fringe.
But that's not going to happen. I mean, he took down the Patriots. That was very impressive.
I would put Aaron Rodgers in that category.
Yeah, he's having a pretty monster year too. But okay, we'll get into that later though. Here's a huge question I need to ask: is Deshaun Watson a generational talent?
Well, I hope Payne's listening because being from Alabama, being a huge Alabama fan, I have witnessed Deshaun Watson. He's honestly the only quarterback, in my life, that has, in the Saban era, let me rephrase that has torched, besides Johnny Manziel once, but I'm talking about multiple times. He is the only quarterback that has torched Alabama multiple times. So I was like, okay, this guy's good. And then he goes to the pros, and he's doing the same thing. I am a Deshaun Watson believer.
And then he tore his ACL. He's one injury away from being injury prone.
He's unbelievable. I did not think he would be this good in the NFL.
Me either.
I really didn't.
But I'd say
I really didn't.
I'd say pump the brakes on calling him a generational talent.
Yeah,
because
generational talent is like, I don't even think. Pat Mahomes is a generational talent.
No, you can say that because he made it to an AFC Championship game and he won an MVP. He's a generational talent. He threw 50 touchdowns last year.
Then you could say that about Carson Wentz if he didn't get hurt.
No, because he didn't win an MVP. He didn't win a Super Bowl. He hasn't proved himself yet. That was Nick Foles' win, not his. Yes, he won 11 games that year. He was lights out, but then he got hurt, and it was the Nick Foles train. But I'm talking.
It's hard to like. I would think Andrew Luck is a generational talent.
You don't or do?
I do. I think he is a generational talent.
I mean, he had success.
He just got hurt.
Yeah, but I bring this up. I bring this up.
What's up?
I bring this up because I saw it on Instagram. It was, and maybe you saw it. It was today. It got me heated because it was Michael Vick and Deshaun Watson sitting watching film. Did you see that?
I didn't see that, Vic.
It was Michael Vick and Deshaun Watson sitting watching film on Deshaun Watson's plays of like crazy plays that he had in his career, and the caption said 2 generational talents sitting down watching film, and I lost it. I was like, okay. If you want to compare the two, go ahead, but you can't. You cannot put Deshaun Watson in a Michael Vick's atmosphere right now. You can't even put Lamar Jackson there. Yes, they're amazing, talented individuals, but they haven't done anything yet, especially in the postseason. Regular season doesn't matter. And I got so much fire because I said, and I quote, I said, let's pump the brakes. Deshaun Watson hasn't won anything yet. And I got so much hate. Like, random people just yelling at me saying, are you kidding me? Like, how is he not generational talent? Do I think he's got potential? Hell yeah. Do I think he's a top 10 quarterback? Of course. But let's pump the brakes. I'm willing to wait a little bit because he's one major injury away from being tagged as injury prone. Just one. He already tore his ACL. If he tears it again or he hurts his shoulder, he's a done for the year.
He's torn at both knees, too.
Yeah. Injury, you're one injury away from people saying he's injury prone. You got to watch out for him. Maybe he's not the quarterback of the future. Like one. That's how the media works. That's how it gets tagged, like that. So I just say pump the brakes. I think Watson's great, but I don't think he's generational.
That they say that because not to bring race into this, but because he's an African American quarterback.
Of course, yeah.
Okay.
That's
because they didn't say that when. when Carson was doing it, when he had his
or Tebow.
Okay, relax on Tebow.
Michael Vick was one of the first like mobile quarterbacks. Like I understand there was many before him, but he was the cheat code. He was he's the greatest mobile quarterback that's ever lived. And people got on me because I said he has no Super Bowls, he has no championships, he has no hardware, no playoff wins, nothing. And they're like, oh, well, Michael Vick doesn't have any Super Bowls. And I'm like, okay, well, when you have an illustrious career like Michael Vick had, when he got arrested, left, came back, he was still amazing.
He
so
was the MVP.
Exactly. So people need to figure it out. And I like Deshaun. He's a great player. He's a great guy. But let's pump the brakes. That's all I'm saying. Let's figure it out. You know, let's just wait a little bit. Are the Browns the biggest disappointment in the league?
Them, yes, I would say, but I'm going to throw another team out there.
Okay, why? Who?
The Chargers.
Ooh, good point.
Why. Here's why.
They're on the up and up, though.
They're 4-5 right now, correct?
Mhm.
They're playing Oakland. Excuse me. Yeah, Oakland.
Yep.
They'll be Las Vegas next year. They
In like
have
20 minutes.
arguably the best roster in the NFL.
That's very arguably.
Then what's their problem?
Management.
We know Cleveland's problems. First year head coach, he wasn't even a coordinator.
Yep.
The offensive line is horrible.
It's Phillip Rivers, man. It's Phillip Rivers.
Yeah. I think the biggest it's definitely Cleveland, but a close second is probably the Chargers.
I would say Cleveland takes it because they're done. They're out. The Chargers still have a chance.
Right, yeah.
Chargers have a favorable schedule, and they have good talent, and they're on the up and up. Coming off a win. Big win over the Packers. So
has Keenan Allen done anything? Where has he been?
I have him in fantasy in one of my other leagues, and he put up the last big game he had. He put up 40 points. It was unbelievable. I had so many people wanting to trade for him, and I'm an idiot, and I said no. And he's posted like 6 straight games of under 12 points, and it's just been terrible. He was hurt for one of them. He was battling an injury for like 2 of them. He's always injured. I don't know why I took him, but yeah, it's just not getting the looks. They're throwing it to the running backs more in the backfield. And I'm not watching a lot of Chargers games, and I know
Me
that.
neither.
It's the Chargers who gives a shit.
Been disappointing.
I can't believe they beat the Packers. That was unbelievable. Finally, Melvin Gordon got loose, scored a couple touchdowns.
Yeah.
Utilizing everyone thought they weren't going to keep utilizing Austin Eckler. He is still a top 10 play. Still a top 15 maybe. He's still rated top 10, but that's because he was on a tear in the beginning of the year. But top 15 for sure. He's a solid flex play. He's going to give you 15 every week. At Robbie Straub, you said he wouldn't. He's averaging 20 points a week. So figure it out. That was a good trade.
Figure it out, Robbie.
But Browns, for sure, biggest disappointment with that roster. I don't care if it's a first-year head coach, man. Like that roster, it's on Baker Mayfield, in my opinion. He's just not looking. And I feel bad. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I feel bad for Odell Beckham Jr. Because I used to. Yeah, he's pretty diva-ish, especially on the Giants. He's been very good with the Browns about not freaking out, not yelling, not causing a ruckus. And he finally got something caught on camera or on video where he said, I can't get and I quote, he said, I can't get a look to save my life. It was on a 4th down where they checked it down to the running back instead of throwing it to him. He has 4 red zone targets all year. That's just bad.
Inexcusable, in my opinion.
Yeah, you traded for him for a reason. Either use him or get him the hell out of there because he is a generational talent.
He'll get traded in the offseason.
Not this year. I say next year. He's going to give it another year, I bet. They're going to give it an offseason. He'll try again, and then if not...
everything a year. They'll give the coaching staff.
Yep.
They'll give it that all year.
Because they'll get rid of Freddie. They're going to fire Freddie, for sure.
And I hate to say it because he played quarterback in Alabama. And I hate to say it because I love my Bama boys. But
Kitchens?
He's not ready to be a head coach. He wasn't even a coordinator.
They should. I mean, he worked well with Baker. It's because, and I'm quoting, and I'm going all Colin Cowherd here, but Baker was the one that was like, "This is my guy. I want him to be the coach." And they shouldn't have listened to him. They shouldn't listen to Baker. They should make the decision that's best for them. They could have got Bruce Arians for Christ's sake.
They should have gotten Bruce Arians.
They could have gotten
him.
him.
So much better if they would have had.
Oh my God, Baker would be in MVP talks right now. I mean, everyone thought Jameis would be better, and they're not winning games.
He has been, but he's still not.
They're not winning games, but Jameis is saving his career because a lot of people thought he was done if he was going to suck. They're not winning games, but he's putting up numbers. So, I mean, he's throwing
Did you see that stat where in 29
interceptions or something like that,
no,
right?
It's 20 games. In 20 games, he has 29 interceptions or something crazy like that.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers in like 79 games
had 29.
That's unbelievable.
Rodgers never throws picks, though. He's very decisive on where he wants. Like, he's the rare gunslinger that doesn't throw interceptions. It's unbelievable. It's because he watched Brett Favre make all those mistakes, and he's like, you know what? Maybe if I did this, I won't throw an interception. And he finally he learned from his mistakes. Another headline: we're jumping ships to the NBA. Kawhi Leonard load management. Is it a bad look for the NBA? Everyone's freaking out over load management when the Clippers knew that they signed him knowing he's going to play 64 games because he barely made it to the finals last year. What say you?
You know, it sucks for the fans, the TV watchers, for the broadcast companies that are, playing these games on TV and the star players aren't playing. But for the purement of the team, it's what's best. Because, again, the Clippers, arguably the best team in the NBA besides my Sixers, if they want to go to a championship and be their best at the finals, you're going to have to load manage.
Yeah. You
can't have him play 82 games and then another arguably 30 or so more games in the finals. That's too much.
It's way too many.
Body. And you won't be at your best when it's needed the most.
Yeah, and
what's a loss to the Suns compared to a loss in Game 5 or 6 of the Western Conference Finals?
Yeah, and the only people that are freaking out are like ESPN and Fox and all these people that paid billions of dollars to have their team, to have them play on their team. And when Kawhi's not playing and Paul George isn't playing, nobody wants to watch the damn Clippers. Nobody wants to watch Patrick Beverley go out there and play sound defense. Nobody cares. So once Kawhi plays, that's when people like to watch. But every time he does play, and I think as of right now, he leads the league in fourth quarter points. So he plays when he's in the game, he's making an impact. So and the Clippers knew that they were signing him for 64 games minimum. So, but did you just see that the coach Doc Rivers got fined $50,000 for not being consistent with his Kawhi injury updates to the media?
Yeah, I saw that.
Bullshit. Like, come on, man. And it's funny. And Michael Jordan said we pay you to play 82 games. So there's two sides of it. There's the people that are too headstrong to say, I'm not going to sit out if I can play. I love this game too much. And there's people that are like, yeah, well, you have fun wasting your body, and I'm going to go ahead and tear it up.
That's Michael Jordan's saying. He's the worst executive in the NBA.
Yeah,
he's the worst drafter in the NBA.
It's the Hornets, man. You can't do much with that. They lost
they
Kemba.
had the best player in franchise history in Kemba and let him go. Well, they offered him the max, but he didn't want to stay there.
What'd you think about the fight between Cat and Embiid when Cat kicked his ass?
Yeah, okay. And then Ben Simmons came and whooped his ass.
Yeah, Ben Simmons comes and puts him in a chokehold. He doesn't even get suspended.
Yeah, because Ben Simmons is a goat. Look at him. And he's got a shot now?
Yeah. Is he going to be in the three-point contest this year? No.
Pump the brakes on. Figure it out.
Let's pump the brakes.
Pump the brakes on that one, guys.
That's instead of figure it out, it's pump the brakes.
Yeah, pump the brakes for sure.
Pump the brakes. That's gonna be a new category here. Let's pump the brakes on this.
I like that.
Good job, George. You came up with that. That's gonna be a good one.
On just topics that are just absurd.
Exactly. I picked the Phillies to come out of the East. So if that tells you something.
So I'm very excited about that.
It's
lost 2 straight though, but it's regular season.
Like who's the best team in the East right now?
Sixers or the Bucks. Sixers or Milwaukee.
And the Bucks, and then Boston. Those are the only 3 that are good, right?
Brooklyn's okay.
Oh yeah. But
Brooklyn's okay.
They're going to be better once KD's back.
Indiana's pretty good.
Yeah, but I'm talking contenders.
Yeah, Philly and Milwaukee.
Philly's stacked. Really. Philly has a very good lineup.
The Sixers' biggest problem is shooting. So if they can get another bench scorer, watch.
Tobias Harris can shoot, right? That's why they got him last year.
He's good. He's good. I like Tobias Harris.
They need Ray Allen to come out of retirement.
Pure shooter, yeah.
I'm so happy. I mean, I shouldn't say this. I'm not happy about injuries, but I'm happy the Warriors dynasty is just on hold, at least. You know, their best players, Draymond Green and not Devin Booker. Draymond Green and who is it?
Bill Russell?
Yeah. So, you know, KD gone, Clay hurt, Steph hurt. The league is now balanced. It's better. It's better. Now the Lakers can finally win a championship again.
Yeah, okay.
LeBron is he back to the best in the league after 3 straight triple doubles? He's averaging a triple double this year. He's the best player in the league, or is Kawhi? Who's the best player in the league? You think Kawhi's the best player in the league?
Well, that's because Kawhi's younger. That's the only thing. I think Kawhi's just because he's younger.
LeBron's going to put up MVP numbers this year. I think I'd be surprised if he doesn't win MVP. But it's only because Kawhi doesn't give a shit and he's not going to play.
Yeah.
Kawhi wants another ring. He wants to win 2 straight rings, 2 different places. And
if he wins one with the Clippers, he'd win a title with all 3 teams he's been on.
That's GOAT status. That puts you top 5 all time.
It might.
I mean,
it might.
And he's young.
He was Finals MVP for 2 of them. He
Yeah,
was Finals MVP with the Spurs and with the Raptors.
That puts you in a good position. That puts you in the Hall of Fame already. But then he's got his whole career ahead of him because he said he wants to play until his son is in the league, and his son's like what, 5? So if he plays in the league for a while, he's going to be putting up a lot more numbers.
LeBron, right?
Huh?
You're talking about LeBron.
No, LeBron. Yeah, LeBron wants to play when his son's in there. But Kawhi said the same thing. Kawhi said, "I want to play with my son."
Yeah, that'll be interesting.
LeBron's for sure going to play with this kid.
Kawhi and LeBron have both won Finals MVPs with 2 teams. If they win one with their respective LA teams, then
LeBron's just got the stats. You know, he's blowing. You know, the points, the playoff points, rebounds, assists, everything. So Kawhi doesn't have that yet, but he's young. He's under 30 years old. So I think he's an amazing player.
Plus, LeBron didn't go to college, too, so he had those extra years.
Exactly. He got a head start on a lot of these players. All right, let's get into the NFL midseason awards.
All right.
Cowherd did this. A lot of people did this. ESPN did this. Bill Barnell, all those great ESPN analysts. So we're going to do our own. We're going to do Offensive Player of the Year, Defensive Rookie of the Year, Offensive Rookie of the Year, Coach of the Year, MVP, and Figure It Out Player of the Year. As of right now, week 8, 2019. So let's save MVP for second to last, and we'll do FIO last, just for the hell of it. So I'll start with Offensive Player of the Year, and maybe we'll agree on a lot of these. I'm not sure. My Offensive Player of the Year is Christian McCaffrey. I think he's unbelievable. He's the greatest fantasy player to ever live, besides LaDainian Tomlinson. He's having a record-breaking year. He leads the league in scrimmage yards, leads the league in overall touchdowns. Plays on a mediocre team that's doing good because of him. It's the Carolina, what is it? It's the McCaffrey Panthers or something like that. I saw it. It's basically the CMC show. So he's my Offensive Player of the Year.
Yep, I would happen to agree with you. You know, coming out of college, I did not think he would be this good.
I knew he'd catch balls.
I thought he'd be a pretty good player, pretty good running back in the NFL. I didn't think he could run between the tackles like he is now, because he didn't do that much in college.
Yeah.
But the way he's progressed and bulked and
he's jacked.
He's unbelievable.
He's huge.
He's definitely the best offensive player in the league this year, in my opinion.
Defensive Rookie of the Year. I'm going with the 49ers DN Nick Bosa. The man's unstoppable right now. I think he's got 7 or 8 sacks. He's like 5th in the league in sacks, but he's a rookie. He's obviously leading rookies and everything. His stat line the last couple games have just been on a tear. Every tackle he had was behind the line of scrimmage, or a sack, or a forced. He's had a few forced fumbles this year. He's having that J.J. Watt effect. He's having that, even like his brother Joey Bosa effect, where he's just a game changer.
Yeah, I would happen to agree with you. I'm a huge Nick Bosa fan. You know what he's doing with that 49ers D-line, and they drafted D linemen in the first round the past couple years too.
Yeah, they're stacked on the line.
But with him and then the addition of D Ford,
It's huge.
I mean, that's why they're doing so well. You got to realize, just going back, the way you build teams,
Defense.
it's old-fashioned, but you got to build it from the inside out.
Yep.
The offensive and defensive line is what separates these great teams.
The big uglies. Got to get those guys in there.
The line of scrimmage is what makes or breaks a team. Look at Cleveland. Arguably the worst offensive line in the NFL. Great skill players. They can't do nothing.
Yeah. Well, they just traded their best offensive lineman for Olivier Vernon this year, and he has one tackle. So that wasn't very good.
For sure.
Yeah, you gotta build it from the inside out. I agree with you. I mean, look at the Cowboys. They built their offensive line. Now they're the best They've been the best offensive line in football the last 5 years. The Vikings have drafted very good defensive players in the first round before taking any kind of offense. The last offensive player we took in the first round, besides an offensive lineman, was Laquan Treadwell, and he's been terrible.
Yeah,
so.
he hasn't panned out either.
He had a big game last week. I will say that. I'll give him his credit where credit's due. He had 2 big third down catches, which tied his totals all year. 2 catches. So shout out Laquan Treadwell. Good job. Offensive Rookie of the Year is Josh Jacobs. Pretty easy. I'm sure that's yours as well. Am I right?
Yeah, he's built by Bama, of course.
Yeah, that's your man. That's your Bama man. And I think the Raiders have a real gem with him because it's cool because Bama, Nick Saban, they didn't really use him that much there. So he's fresh. He had fresh legs, but you knew he was a top 10 talent coming out of the draft. So I think that was a very good pick by Gruden and the Raiders.
I
he's
got
up the league.
I got a couple other guys I want to mention.
Go ahead.
Alabama for Defensive Rookie of the Year.
Yep.
I'm a big Quinnen Williams fan.
Oh, yeah, for the Jets.
Yeah, I'm a big Quinnen Williams fan. That organization stinks, but they're getting there. They got a good GM hiring Joe Douglas from the Eagles.
I like Quinnen Williams a lot. He's such a big personality.
I do like Quinnen Williams, and I also like for Offensive Rookie of the Year. He surprised me again. Kyler Murray. He's arguably on the most surprising team in the NFL, the Cardinals.
That's a good pick.
I really do like Kyler. I mean, Cliff Kingsbury has definitely surprised me.
Yeah, Kyler, they struggled early, and it's kind of hard because I don't really like Kyler as a person. I just think he's kind of a jackass. Do you think? You know what I mean? He's got little man syndrome. He's kind of like when people ask him a question, it's like he freaks.
He's doing him a favor, I feel like.
Yeah, or he thinks really highly of himself, and that's all fine and dandy. But that's just my opinion.
Yeah.
I think he's doing good. He's doing a lot better than I thought. I thought he'd be a bust.
I thought so too.
I mean, I knew he'd be able to scramble and run around and make some plays, but he's making a lot of good plays with his arms. He's got a very strong arm, which is and his teammates seem to like him. Larry Fitzgerald talks very highly of him, so I think I think that's their franchise.
We're talking about offensive line. They have the worst in the NFL.
That's why he's running.
Cincinnati.
Yep.
Have the worst, and they have no receivers. They got pretty good running backs now with Kenyon Drake.
Yeah,
David Johnson. And
David
Chase
Johnson.
Edmonds.
They got some good running backs, good talent at running backs if they can stay healthy. Larry Fitzgerald's old, but still has great hands. Christian Kirk is emerging as a decent wide receiver too, but definitely not something to brag about.
No.
Their tight ends aren't that good, so yeah, they need some more talent. I think they will build around him. Definitely, they're taking an offensive lineman first in the draft this year.
They have to.
They have to. They have to do that. So either that, I think their defense is decent. Their defense is. I mean, I think they ought to trade Patrick Peterson. I'm surprised they didn't do it. Get him out of there. Get some fresh legs. Get some picks for him. Maybe you can get a first rounder for him. He's still a good corner, but not enough. They had Tyrann Mathieu. He ain't there anymore.
Yeah.
Let's see. Let's go with Coach of the Year. Now, you might be different here. I'll let you go first. Who's your Coach of the Year?
Is it obvious? Kyle Shanahan. I mean, what he's done with the Niners this year, probably the best.
Unbelievable.
He might be the most. He's definitely the most up and coming coach in the NFL, but I think he might be arguably the best offensive mind in the NFL. I think he's better than Sean McVay.
Yeah, everyone's
hot take.
Everyone was on Sean McVay's dick, and it's not panning out for him now. He's not looking too good.
They were on Sean McVay's dick, but Doug Peterson's 2-0 against him. So I mean, I think Kyle Shanahan is the coach of the year.
I think Sean McVay's been exposed. I think people have his number now. I think he's got to revamp it. He's got to pump the brakes. He's got to figure it out. and he'll be back because his $100 million quarterback looks like shit. So he needs to figure it out. This might surprise you with my pick. My coach of the year is Matt LaFleur. And
okay.
Think about it, man. They're doing good. They're 7-2. They're number one in the division. Fuck them. But it's really hard to work with Aaron Rodgers because he demands perfection. He demands wins. He knows he's getting towards the end of his career rather than the beginning of his career. So and everyone thought it wouldn't work out because it would be basically the Aaron Rodgers show. But they are meshing together well. They seem to look good on the sidelines. They're not arguing too much. And when they are, they seem to kind of go back and forth. So it's not like one-sided. I think LaFleur is perfectly handling Aaron Rodgers, and I think their play calling is a lot better than it has been in the last few years, as you can see in their success shows. And they're finally using Aaron Jones. It's not Aaron Rodgers throwing the ball 60 times. They're finally balanced, and I think LaFleur is surprising a lot of people, including myself.
I got another person that might be up for the running.
And they're both rookie coaches, both of those guys.
Yeah, exactly.
Crazy.
I got another one. How about John Harbaugh?
Yeah,
What
with
he's
the
been doing with
Ravens.
Lamar Jackson.
Yep.
Turning him into a good quarterback.
Yeah, everyone.
That's definitely coaching. That can't be all Lamar.
No, yeah, and everyone thought Jim Harbaugh was the better Harbaugh, but it's got to be John at this point,
John's won a Super Bowl.
over his brother,
Yes.
over Kaepernick, with Joe Flacco, who's buns.
He is terrible.
It was their defense.
Denver stinks. That's another story. That's something for another day.
Yeah, and Denver beat the Browns last week.
Unbelievable.
Okay, and my MVP, I'm sure you know, is Dalvin Cook. 1,100 plus scrimmage yards, 9 touchdowns, leads the leagues in rushing touchdowns, not total touchdowns. He's averaging over 5 yards a carry. He's absolutely unstoppable with, I would say, an average offensive line. There's nothing to brag about. Definitely better than last year. Our offensive line was terrible. Dalvin Cook's been known to be injury prone. He's had 2 pretty significant injuries. I'm knocking on wood right now. Please don't get injured again. By the love of God. That's why I didn't draft you in fantasy, just because you never know. And I'm regretting it every day because he's an unbelievable talent. And I would love, if it's really hard for a running back to win MVP, but do you know who the last running back to win MVP was?
Let me think.
2012.
Was it Adrian Peterson?
It was Adrian fucking Peterson with the Minnesota Vikings. He had 2,000 rushing yards. And I would love to see Dalvin Cook get 2,000 scrimmage yards, at least, because I don't think he can get 2,000 rushing yards at this point. But if he gets 2,000 scrimmage yards, gets 15-plus touchdowns, I think that's a pretty good stat line to argue and get the last 2. That if he wins, that'd be the last 2 running backs would be both Vikings players. I think it'd be great story. But obviously, quarterbacks are going to dominate it, so I'm sure you're going to have a quarterback.
Of course. How can you not give the MVP to Russell Wilson?
He's so good.
I mean, it's unbelievable what he's doing. And if you think about it, his receivers are not that great. His running backs are okay. He is the most valuable player.
Yeah.
He might not have the best stats, he's probably top 5 in all quarterback stats. I know that.
It is value.
With what he has, you can't beat that. And if you take Russell Wilson off the Seahawks,
They're terrible.
They're probably 6-10.
Maybe worse.
Exactly. So, I mean, he is so valuable to that entire franchise that there's no reason he should not be MVP.
And this is without Doug Baldwin, which everyone thought they were going to suck without him, and without Jimmy Graham. And he's turned Tyler Lockett into a top 5 fantasy play every week, like a must start every week, which is crazy.
And DK Metcalf's playing pretty good.
DK's playing good. They got Josh Gordon in there. You never know with him, even though I don't think he'll make that big of an impact. I hope he will. But that's when we gotta go to Seattle. The Vikings have to go to Seattle in a few weeks, and that's gonna be rough. It'll be off a bye though, so I think we'll be looking good. But yeah, it's hard not to go Russ, man. I think he only has 1 interception on the year, maybe 1 or 2. He's unbelievable. And they used to be a defensive team, and now it's all about him, and it's crazy. Yeah. But I'm leaning towards running backs, and everyone's favorite has either been Dalvin's barely been in the discussion. I don't think he'll win. I'm trying to speak it into existence, but he's my MVP at the midseason awards here. And last but certainly not least, the figure it out player of the year so far for me has to be Mr. Baker Mayfield, quarterback of the Cleveland Browns. I know you're gonna say it's coaching, it's this and that, but he's awful. He leads the league in interceptions since entering the league. He has more interceptions than touchdowns at this point in his career. He's too cocky. He thinks he's better than he actually is. He's denying reporters' questions. He's being a diva, and he hasn't won anything, and he's not good. And I think he needs to pump the brakes. He's got to figure it out. He's my figure it out player of the year, player of the year up to this point. Do I think it'll change? Yes. I don't think he'll be my figure it out player of the year at the end of the year, but we'll see.
Mine, I think they'll give him one more year after this year.
Oh,
and
no.
it's Mitch Trubisky.
Oh, shit. I didn't even think about him.
Another product of Mentor, Ohio, which is near Cleveland, so shout out Nick again. With that, arguably one of the best offensive minds in the league, Matt Nagy.
Yep.
Reed Cohen, David Montgomery, good running backs.
Solid.
Trey Burton, a good tight end.
From
Allen
Philly.
Robinson, Taylor Gabriel. I mean, they got weapons. And they have schemes. They have plays. I mean, it's on him. There's no denying it. Cowherd said he was the 51st ranked quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah.
You're telling me there is 50 quarterbacks that are better than the second overall pick in 2017? Are you kidding me?
And they traded up to get him, man. They passed on Mahomes and Watson.
The second overall pick is this shit. They'll give him one more year.
I can't laugh too much because he's dominated the Vikings. Since entering the league, he's beaten us every time. We haven't beaten him once. So for some reason, he just balls out against us, and their defense always plays great. So
we shit on him. The Eagles shit on him.
We heard him in the first series, and then backup comes in. I think they don't even let him play the rest of the year if he keeps struggling. They might as well just keep with the backup. Because the backup knows to play back. Yeah, Chase Daniel, that's the guy. I couldn't think of his name. He knows the scheme. He knows his role is the thing. Mitch Trubisky tries too much to be something he's not. He needs to be a game manager because when you have a defense that good, just give him a 14-point lead and you're winning. You'll win.
He's a one-read quarterback. He will see his first read, and if it's not there, he'll run.
Scramble or throw it away.
That's
yeah,
what he is.
Or he'll force it. And yeah,
he is a poor man's Alex Smith.
Yeah, that's a very poor man's Alex Smith. There's a lot of people I'd take over Mitch Trubisky at this point.
Yes. I would take Jameis.
Yeah, of course I'd take Jameis. You
Which
put
might be
Jameis
a
on the
hot take.
Bears, they're good. You put Jameis on the Bears, they're good. They're better than they are now, for sure. I don't know where Mitch is going to be if he keeps doing bad, especially with the talent that they have. Not as much offensive talent, but definitely defensive talent they have. So yeah, those are our NFL midseason awards. Lock them in, and in 8 weeks, I'll do it again and say what my actual ones are. I think a lot of them will be the same, especially, Nick Bosa, Josh Jacobs. Those seem to be locks unless Kyler Murray goes on an absolute tear like we were talking about.
Daniel Jones.
No, I'm not putting Danny Dimes in there.
I'm not putting Danny Dimes.
He had 2 good weeks, and then from there he got exposed. He's not good. It's the Saquon Barkley show. Just hand it off and watch him do his thing. That's all you got to do, Danny. All right, well, that's it. That's it for NFL midseason awards. Let's get into our Week 10 matchups and our picks. Week 9 looked pretty good for me. I think I only missed a couple. I won't get too much into it. I just want to go over one game from last week, and I think you know which game it's going to be. It's going to be the Vikings-Chiefs. Because if you didn't watch the game, you missed out on an absolutely amazing game. Chiefs ended up winning 26-23. Fuck them. But you got to tip your cap to good coaching. Andy Reid's one of the best. I'm gonna go ahead and give you all the biggest takeaways from that game. So I'll give you the pros and the cons. I'll get to the pros first. Pros is the Lions, Bears, and Packers all lost, so nothing really happened. Everything stayed the same. Kirk played great for how bad the offensive line played. He was getting pressured. I don't know if you watched any of the highlights, but one of our offensive linemen got literally pushed into him and sacked him. You know that's bad. That's so embarrassing when you get bull rushed into your quarterback. So that's not good. Treadwell and Olabisi Johnson, both backup receivers, both looked very good in Adam Thielen's absence. He played one series, tweaked the hamstring, and I'm hoping that he'll be okay. I think they're going to hold him off until the week 12 bye, because we play the Cowboys, huge game, and then we play Denver, they suck, and then we have a bye, then we play Seattle. So rest him. I'd say rest him until the bye. Let him fully heal, and then get to Seattle and beat them. Khan's offensive line looked terrible. Diggs didn't get involved. Got to get him the ball. He's a playmaker. Who else? Secondary couldn't handle Kelsey or Hill. Oh my God, they were just mismatched the entire game. Hill destroyed us single-handedly. And this is the first time where I'm going to question the coaching. I love Zimmer. Everyone loves Zimmer. But this was terrible coaching. So get this, George. You got a guy named Travis Kelce on the Chiefs. He's about 6'5", 240 pounds. He's amazing. Catches everything. So it's third and 15. And if we stop them, they punt it, and we have a chance to go down the field and tie the game. And win the game. And because it was tied 23-23 at the time. And he sees Anthony Barrs lined up out wide covering Travis Kelce. He says, time out. We ain't having this. I'm not having Anthony Barr, who's a great cover guy, but he ain't covering Travis Kelce. I'm not putting him on him. Time out. And I was yelling at my TV, time out. Thank you, time out. Put Xavier Rhodes and Harrison Smith on him, our two best defenders. I don't care who else is open. Double cover that motherfucker. And what do I see come out there? Mackenzie Alexander, our fourth best corner and our smallest corner. He's 5'10", 195 pounds. He's the smallest guy on the field covering the biggest guy on the field. No safety help. Harrison Smith does lay a hit, but he was not over the top. Travis Kelce catches the ball first down. They kick a game-winning field goal. That's terrible coaching, putting Mackenzie Alexander. I don't know if that was some kind of a misread where the guy wasn't out there, but after a timeout, you got to be able to have your defense well ready to play. So that was terrible. But we had chances to win the game. That's why I don't put it too much on coaching, because we had 2 3-and-outs with 7 minutes left. We had 7 minutes left to go drive down the field and milk the clock. We were up by 3, get a first down, run the clock out, and make it hard for them to win the game. We go to 3-and-out, terrible penalties, sacks, everything that could go bad. And then we have another chance after it's tied with 2 minutes left in the fourth quarter. 3-and-out again. And after that 3-and-out, I knew we were going to lose. And that's exactly what happened. But our defense played good up until the end, or even towards the end, because we had a huge sack, almost fumbled it, almost recovered the fumble, and couldn't get that done. And then above all, we could have punted it away. Our punter was playing so good, Britton Colquitt, the whole game, and then he shanked the punt, dude. He had like a 15-yard punt. You could have punted it better than him. And gave them, they were already in field goal range after he punted it. So, thank you, Britton Colquitt. We got the wrong Colquitt brother. We should have gotten Dustin from the Chiefs. And we lost, and above all, we lost to a high school quarterback coach last year, Matt Moore. I hate his face, and I hated watching him torch our defense. So that was very disheartening. So yeah, there's my Vikings-Chiefs review, and we're not losing again. You heard it here first. Sorry, George. Now let's get into our Week 10 matchups. Chargers at Raiders. They're playing right now. I have no idea what the score is.
It's 3-0 Raiders right now.
3-0?
Mm-hmm. 3-0 Raiders.
All right, well, that's good because I have the Raiders winning this game. And by the way, you have to pick an upset of the week and a game of the week. So you can, if you already had an upset, that could be your upset of the week. I have multiple upsets this week, so this is going to be interesting. But I wouldn't consider this an upset. I think the Raiders and Chargers are pretty equal, and they're in Raider territory in the black hole. So I'm going with the Raiders here. I think Derek Carr is playing great. They got two of the best young tight ends going at it tonight, Hunter Henry and Darren Waller. It'll be a great game, and I can't wait to watch it after this podcast. So I think I got the Raiders. What about you? And I'm writing them down. Keep that in mind.
I got the Raiders. I
Okay.
think the line, I want to know what the line was. I think it was 3.
I need to start implementing the line in my podcast.
I want to say it was 3, but I could be wrong. So I'll take the Raiders -3 to win.
Okay. Next, Giants at Jets, the battle of the New York trash. This is one of my upsets. I'm going with the Jets here. The Jets are an absolute dumpster fire, but I don't know why I want to pick them. I just want to pick them. You know, you got your boy Quentin Williams playing. You got Le'Veon Bell playing. You got Sam Darnold. I think Sam Darnold's going to figure it out. And I just think the Giants are bad. So I'm going with the Jets here.
So the Giants are favored by 2.5. So I'm going to take the Giants minus the points. And just purely because they're the better of the worst.
The better of the worst two teams. Next, Falcons at Saints. This is an easy one. Saints by 1 billion. The Falcons' defense is absolutely terrible. Drew Brees is back. Michael Thomas is the best receiver in football. And it's clear that the Saints are a way better team and one of the best teams in the NFC.
Yep, I have to agree. This is the biggest line of any game this weekend. It's 13.5.
Oh, my
New
God.
Orleans. So I'm taking New Orleans minus the points.
Next, Chiefs at Titans. Titans are the most inconsistent team in football. They can beat you by 40 and lose by 40 the very next week, and I'm thinking they're going to lose by 40. Chiefs by 1 billion, especially if Patrick plays. This is an easy win.
Yeah, Patrick, I'm taking the Chiefs minus 6.5.
Next, Ravens at Bengals. And you said the Bengals are the worst team in football, right?
Yes.
So you're definitely not picking this as your upset?
No, Baltimore's favored by 10.5.
It's a big favor. Yeah, Lamar Jackson's on a tear, fringe MVP candidate. I think he's going to continue his success off that big New England win.
The Bengals have the worst defense statistically in the NFL, and they have the worst offensive line in the NFL, according to Pro Football Focus.
They've been the worst defense for a long time, very long time.
I'm definitely taking the Ravens.
Do you think? Side note: do you think if the Bengals end up with the number 1 pick, they're taking Tua, your boy?
You know, I've been reading reports, and I've been reading that they favor Joe Burrow.
Really?
Another Ohio boy. They favor him because the Dolphins favor Tua.
That might go in the Dolphins' favor. You don't think the Dolphins are going to build around Josh Rosen?
No, I think he's a career backup.
I think that too, but a lot of people I know a lot of Dolphins fans that like Rosen. They want to see him get his fair chance. So, I think I'm going with the Ravens here. It's a very easy pick there. Bills at Browns. This is an upset. I have a question mark next to upset because I'm not sure if that's considered an upset because the Bills have a better record, but are they really that much better than the Browns?
Well, the Bills' D is good. There's no denying that. They have a really good coaching staff and they have a really good defense.
Very well-run organization.
The last 3 games, Josh Allen has thrown, I think, 2 touchdowns and no interceptions in each of those games.
Yeah, he's doing pretty decent.
So he's playing good. He'll never be an elite quarterback. He'll always be
average.
I think he's better than Trubisky, though.
Oh, yeah, he's better than Trubisky. He's better than Andy Dalton. Is he better than Matt Ryan? No.
No.
Is he better than Kirk Cousins? No. I think Kirk Cousins...
I think I'm going to take the Bills. Because there's no way, even though it's in Cleveland, and Cleveland is favored by 3,
yeah.
I'm still going to take Buffalo plus the points.
Okay.
Because the way Baker's been playing, especially against that defense,
yeah.
Think he gets on Tre'Davious White? No way. I'm
think
taking Buffalo plus the points.
I think they're going to force feed this Browns fan base is going to murder Baker if they lose at home again. So I think that he's going to force feed the ball to Odell. Whether it goes well or not, I think the Browns win. It's going to be a close game, but I think the Browns are going to come up with the win. Next, Lions at Bears. Big NFC North matchup. This is decent. I mean, the battle of the bottom of the NFC North, so doesn't really matter who wins this, in my opinion. I think the Lions are going to win, though. I think the Lions have the better roster. Obviously not defensively, but they got the better quarterback, Pat Stafford. They got better receivers with Kenny Golladay, Marvin Jones Jr. You know, Kerryon Johnson's obviously hurt, but they never really had good running backs ever. So they're besides Barry Sanders, obviously, but that was a long time ago. So yeah, I'm going with the Lions here, and I wouldn't really consider that an upset. So
Chicago is favored by 2.5, but I'm going to take the Lions plus 2.5.
Nice. All right. In my opinion, the worst team in football, even though they have a better record than the Bengals, Dolphins. Dolphins at Colts. I had the Dolphins going winless, so I'm pissed that they won last week. Because I thought they were going to be the first team to go undefeated, have a undefeated season, 1972 Dolphins, and then have a not win a game, be winless. That'd be crazy. So,
would be crazy.
But it didn't happen. So Ryan
Jets are just as worse.
Fitzpatrick had to fucking go out there and have a day. So Dolphins at Colts. So here is the interesting thing. Now that they've got that win, I don't have to be so quick to pick the other team over the Dolphins. Now, I might sound like I'm contradicting myself because I picked the Colts to win the AFC South. And I still picked them to win, but I'm having them lose this game to the Dolphins. This is my upset of the week. You heard it here first. Only if Brian Hoyer starts for the Colts, because he's dumpster fire. He's awful. So I don't think the Colts will rally around a guy like Brian Hoyer. But Jacoby Brissett practiced limitedly today, so if Jacoby Brissett plays, I'm taking the Colts. But I'm not going to stay away from my pick. Even if he ends up playing, I'm going with the Dolphins. Upset of the week.
This will be a close game. I still think the Colts pull it out, but the Colts are favored by 11.
Yeah.
That's a big number, especially if Brian Hoyer plays.
T.Y.'s out too, man. So you got to, they're just going to run the ball. They're just going to run it with Marlon Mack. It's going to be the Marlon Mack show. And Zach Pascal.
I'm going to take the Colts to win, but I'm not taking them minus 11 because that is...
It'll be way closer than that. I think the Dolphins are coming off a win, man, so they're going to be rolling. You never know. Never know. It's the Dolphins. Next game, Panthers at Packers. This is could be potentially a game of the week, but I'm not picking it as my game of the week. I'm going with the Packers here. The Panthers, Kyle Allen is doing great besides that 49ers game, but obviously that defense is amazing. So I think it'll be a close game. It'll be a great game. It'll be very cold, so we'll see how Kyle Allen does in the cold. But I'm going with Aaron Rodgers and the Packers.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with Aaron Rodgers. And at home against Kyle Allen. He's a good player. He's a good player. He's not a franchise-altering quarterback. I don't even think he's a starting quarterback in the NFL. He's a good career backup.
He's a game manager. That's all you need to be.
He's a good quarterback in the NFL.
Well, that's good coaching. That's Ron Rivera. That's good coaching.
I'm going to take the Packers minus 6 to win.
See, I picked if Kyle Allen beat the 49ers, I would say that's the end of the Cam Newton era in Carolina. But he didn't. So I think there's still room for Cam to come back. Do I think Cam's a better quarterback? I think he's more talented. Like, this is the same thing. Would you say Deshaun Watson, would you say Cam Newton's a generational talent? Some people would say that. I don't see the success. He went to a Super Bowl, but he lost. He won an MVP. But that was 1 year. Then he's been absolutely terrible since then. So you can't consider him a generational talent. I'd take Deshaun Watson over Cam Newton any day.
Of course.
Anybody
would.
would.
His career 59% completion percentage.
Exactly. So
how can you say he's a generational talent with that completion percentage?
Exactly. Next, Rams at Steelers. It could be potential upset. Steelers are on a bit of a tear, but I'm going with the Rams here. Think McVay's going to figure it out, going to give it to his playmakers, Todd Gurley. Brandon Cooks is out. Robert Woods is a little iffy. So just keep that in mind. Their offensive weapons are a little hurt. But they got that guy, the man, the myth, the legend himself, Cooper Kupp. Absolutely tear. Top 5 fantasy receiver this year. Amazing trade by me. Thank you very much. But yeah, I'm going with the Rams here by $1 billion.
$1 billion?
Nah, not $1 billion. About like 6. What's the line?
Well, the line is 3.5, so I'm going to take the Rams minus 3.5 to win. Because Mason Rudolph, again, a career backup.
It's been the year of the backups, man.
I'm telling you.
Teddy Bridgewater, best backup quarterback in the league.
The Steelers need to start looking as well for a quarterback.
What do you think about, I know they're on a bye, and this is not I know the Eagles on a bye. We're not talking about that. We're talking about Nick Foles. He's starting now over Gardner Minshew. He's getting the start. So do you think that's a good move?
Yeah, I think so. Because Gardner's been good, but
yeah,
it's Nick Foles' team.
They're figuring him
out. You know what
out.
you're getting with Nick Foles.
And they paid him a lot of money. So
they paid him $80 million.
That's a lot.
Six-round Gardner Minshew over Big Dick Nick Foles.
I don't think he's Big Dick Nick at this point. He's got to earn that back. You know, he's been hurt. So
definitely got to earn that back.
So we'll see with him. But, all right, this is my game of the week. Obviously, you know what's coming up. Vikings at Cowboys. Sunday Night Football. This is going to be the game. This is going to be the game where Kirk Cousins shuts everybody up about not being – I wasn't going to say not being elite. He's not elite. But not being clutch in primetime games. This is it. We played a primetime game against the Redskins, but the Redskins suck. Now we're going against the Cowboys, America's team. Everybody in America is going to be watching this game. Kirk, you have played the Cowboys many, many times in your career when you were in Washington. You know this team. You know how to attack it. You have the best team you've ever been on. Obviously, your boy Adam Thielen won't be there, but don't force feed it to Diggs. And I think the Vikings are going to beat the Cowboys. It's going to be an amazing game. It's going to be a close game. It's going to come down to some defensive stops late, but I think Kirk Cousins is going to have a very good game. He's going to shut up the haters. He's going to shut up the doubters. Otherwise, if he loses this game, if he loses the game and he does bad, he's going to get his ass ripped by everybody in the media. I'm going to have to stay off of social media because I'm not going to want to hear it. So, including myself, I'll rip him if he loses this game and does bad. But if he loses this game and does good like he did last week, I think we can chill out a little bit on him. So this is going to be the game where he shuts everybody up. What say you?
What is Kirk, like 5-26 against teams with a record above 500, right?
Oh, are you talking about prime time or overall?
Overall, I thought.
Prime time, yeah, he's like 5 for 20 or something like that. Teams over 500, yeah, he's around the same, 5 for 20 something. Very bad record.
Now, who do I want to win?
Obviously,
I want Vikings to win because it helps the Eagles.
Yeah,
but being in Dallas, they have a pretty okay, home field advantage. It's nothing special like Philly. Those Cowboys fans made me sick. Anyway.
Don't tell me you're picking the Cowboys right now.
I'm leaning towards them.
Oh, are you leaning towards them or are you picking them?
This is a coin flip. Because they're the same exact team. Coward said it himself. They're the same exact team.
I would say our defense is much better than their defense. We have a way better roster. We have a way better roster.
You have a better secondary, but they have better linebackers.
It will. Our linebackers are good, man. It'll be. Yeah, they are. Like, if you go by position, like quarterbacks, kind of equal. I'd say, obviously, because it's different because Thielen isn't playing. So, if you talk about the people who are playing, it's Michael Gallup and Amari Cooper. So, if it was Diggs and Thielen, that's obviously a better duo than Cooper and Gallup. But now it's just Cooper and Gallup versus Diggs and Treadwell. So, obviously, they have a little knack.
Don't forget about Randall Cobb either.
Randall Cobb's good, yeah. And Zeke, Dalvin, two great running backs. So, yeah, I could see where you're saying they're the same team. I think our defensive personnel is a little bit better. I think our tight end's better. I think their offensive line's much better. So, yeah, this is a crazy game, and I'm just not a huge believer in Dallas right now because think about the wins that they have. Who have they beaten? They've beaten the Giants twice, the Jets, the Redskins.
They lost to the Jets.
They lost to the Jets, I'm sorry. But they beat the Giants twice. I think they beat the Redskins. Did they beat Philly?
Yeah, they killed us.
Yeah. So it's just not big wins. And I will say Philly last year did the same shit where they sucked, and then all of a sudden they went on a tear and they made the playoffs. So I'm hoping that doesn't happen this year for the Vikings.
I'm hoping that happens. I think we're starting to turn it around.
That'd be crazy.
We play New England next week.
You got some corners back, but they're not anything to brag about.
Don't even start on the cornerback position. We were talking about the receiver position.
Yeah.
We're worse off at cornerback.
Just overall needs to figure it out.
You could put JB out there, I would take that.
But yeah,
I'm picking the Cowboys to win. It pains me to kill them.
I'm putting the G on there. Well, I was going to go to that game. I was planning on going to it for the longest time, but then I didn't know if I was going to be able to get off of work in time. And then I just get my holiday off like 2 weeks ago is when my boss was like, you can have that 10th off if you want to go to the game. I'm like, well, it's too late now. Tickets are $1 billion. And I don't feel like driving 8.5 hours or flying. I just don't feel like spending the money. So I'm just going to have the day off anyway and just watch the game, and it'll be crazy. So we'll see if I'm still alive by the end of that game. And finally, my upset of the week, Seahawks at 49ers. I'm picking the Seahawks to win. Russell Wilson, MVP frontrunner. That 49ers defense, it's potential game of the week as well. Monday Night Football. Russell Wilson, Jimmy G, but I think he's going to hand Jimmy G over that first L. He's going to say, hold this L for me. And, yeah, it's going to be a great game. What say you?
Yep, I like the Seahawks too.
Ooh, nice.
If you think about it, this is the 49ers' probably toughest test to date.
Probably. I'd say so.
The wins that they have, I mean, they beat the Cardinals. I mean, they beat Pittsburgh.
Terrible.
They beat... Who else did
They've
they
had
beat?
They've had some big wins.
Let's see. I'm looking at the schedule. They beat the Cowboys.
Yeah,
The Broncos.
that's a pretty big one.
They beat the Chiefs. That was a big win.
Over Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah. Here we go.
Actually, no, Patrick Mahomes
This
did
is
play.
regular season. Excuse me. So, they played the Buccaneers, beat them.
Yep.
Bengals, Steelers, Browns. They beat the Rams, but that's when the Rams were in a slump. Beat the Redskins, beat the Panthers, and beat the Cardinals.
Panthers
so the teams
team's
they
still
have
good.
beaten and played are
They beat the brakes off the
impressive.
Panthers, though. They beat them by like 40.
Yeah, pump the brakes on the
Pump
Niners.
the brakes.
They're good. Don't get me wrong.
They're
Are they
legit,
the best
man.
team?
They're a
Are they
legit
the
team.
best team in the NFL? I don't think so. Not yet.
I wouldn't.
yet.
I wouldn't
The
say
Saints
the
game against
Patriots
Seattle.
are either. I'd say
They got their next 2 out of 3. They play the Seahawks, then they play the Cardinals, and then they play the Packers. So those 2 out of those Packers-Seahawks games will determine what this team is actually made of. But I'm picking I'm picking the Seahawks to win the game.
what's the line?
6.
Ooh.
So I'm not taking the Seahawks plus 6 or the Niners minus 6. I'm just gonna pick the Seahawks to win.
All right, I'm picking the Seahawks to win too. I hope that's gonna be a great Monday night game. I'm off that day too, so that's gonna be great. I'm just gonna have a bender until that day. I just watch football all day Sunday, all night. Unless the Vikings lose, then I don't know what I'll do with my life. Dude, I just get too into it, and I
know.
it's my New Year's resolution every year to not take football so seriously, and it's hard this year because I work on Sundays. So
Yeah.
what I have to do, and I've gotten really good at it, I record the game at my house, stay off my phone all day, like not even look at it at lunch, and I usually play video games at lunch. I don't even look at the TV because I usually have the games on, so I don't want to like hear anything or see anything. And then I come home, I still stay off my phone, haven't looked at it, and then turn on the game and just watch it fresh, and just like it's real time. And I've been doing pretty good. Some things have gotten leaked here and there, like a fantasy update I'll see on my Apple Watch. Like, what was it, 2 weeks ago against the Lions? It was like, oh, Marvin Jones' 3rd touchdown. I was like, shit, we're getting blown out. But we ended up winning, so that's all that mattered. And he had 4 touchdowns, so it's crazy. But I've been doing pretty good with it so far, but it just sucks. So me working Sundays makes me not take it as seriously because I'm not watching it. And it also makes it a lot harder to do this podcast because I have to go off. I'm watching highlights after highlights I'm always on YouTube trying to scramble to catch up and see what happened because obviously I can't sit there and watch Red Zone like I want and be fully prepared for this podcast. But those are our Week 10 matchup. Those are our Week 10 picks. I have them written down here. I always say I'm going to go over it the next week, but I never do it. So I probably won't do it next week, but we'll see. Maybe I will if I have some time. This has been a great podcast. I'm so glad that you were able to come on, man.
Man, I appreciate it. I've had a great time. Love talking football. We'll do it anytime you ask me, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, we'll have to get you back on again, dude. It's gonna be a good, especially when the Eagles are back on and if they're on a tear or if they're doing bad. I'm gonna need to hear your reactions.
It's been a roller coaster of emotions so far with this damn team. So.
And soon I'm going to start doing these, because I've been doing it roughly every Thursday or Friday, but now I'm going to start, because my new off days are Monday, Tuesday instead of Wednesday, Thursday, so I'm going to start doing them, I want to still do them Thursdays because it's before the games, but it'd be nice to do it Mondays, like after the games, like fresh, but I'll probably still stick to Thursday. I just won't have as much time to prepare, even though I don't put too much I do the bare minimum for this podcast, but I think it's pretty damn good for how bare minimum it is.
I agree, man.
Yeah, so you'll have to listen to it. But hey, man, thanks for coming on. It's been a great podcast, and I'm gonna end it right. But yeah, you keep being a doctor. You keep doing your thing, and hopefully we can hang out and link up again soon.
All right, man. Appreciate it. Good luck, man. I'll talk to you soon.
Oh yeah, we got to talk more. Figure it out, man. I'll talk to you later.
Pump the brakes, man.
Pump the brakes. See you, George.
All right, man.
And that was George Shinara. Man, oh man, I love doing this podcast, man. I sound like John Gruden right there, but I look forward to doing this every week. So maybe it'll start going to twice a week, do it Thursdays and then Mondays after the game. Probably not. Not enough time to really do it. I'm a busy guy, but we'll see. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for tuning in. Tune in next week. Figure it out. Pump the brakes. We got all these kinds of lingos going on now. So yeah, thank you guys for listening, and figure it out.